Hello, my name is William Nichols Jr., and I appreciate the opportunity of being able to bring about this discussion about the relevance of state shield laws in the age of social media. Now, state shield laws have been around for many years. They help provide protections to the journalist when the journalist is collecting his or her data for a story. There's often the need to keep the sources anonymous, and what a shield law does is shield the journalist from prosecution because he or she won't divulge that source under subpoena. Now, it is worth noting that there are no federal shield law protections for journalists. Social media is relatively in its infancy compared to state shield laws, but it is evolving at an exponential rate. Now, when many people discuss shield laws, they hold it hand in hand with the First Amendment. So what the First Amendment actually says is, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for the redress of grievances. Now, in 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court, a case was brought before them, Hansberg versus Hayes, and it actually addressed journalist protections as it relates to the First Amendment. And they noted what the First Amendment does not say. And it states, the First Amendment does not relieve a newspaper reporter of the obligation that all citizens have to respond to a grand jury subpoena and answer relevant questions to a criminal investigation, and therefore the amendment does not afford him a constitutional testimonial privilege for an agreement he makes to conceal facts relevant to a grand jury investigation of a crime, or to conceal the criminal conduct of his source or evidence thereof. Now, as I said before, there's many states that have shield laws, and they do far exceed any kind of federal protections. And all those shield laws differ in some way, but a lot of them have a common theme of defining a journalist. A person regularly engaged in news gathering for the gain or livelihood, employed by the news media, editorial or reporter employee who receives or has received income for news gathering, employed at least 20 hours a week. And but it also notes that in most states they leave out scholars, documentarians, bloggers, and many others. So in my case, a social media user would be equivalent to a blogger, and I would not be afforded the protections as someone you would see on the weekly news. Now, as I said, that the state protections are greatly dependent on the applicable jurisdictions, and the most common criteria for blogging, for example, is that it has to come from a traditional media outlet, your local news station, Fox News, CNN. If you blog on their websites, their reporters would have protection. The source of the blogging would not be revealed. If you were to blog on my Facebook page, I would not be afforded those same protections. And so right now, if you're an average social media user, you're not afforded a state shield protection. But what I find unique about this story is, since I wrote this article, we've had the concerns in Baltimore, the riots and the protesting. They had the big concern with riots that came about last Tuesday, and it came about from social media. People were communicating through social media to where to organize, where to protest, what to do, where to go. And in that case, if the federal government decides to subpoena, or even the state government decides to subpoena those records, there is no shield protection. And to kind of go further into it, it's kind of unique, if you do a little bit of data mining through Twitter, there's common tweets between the riots and the protesters at Baltimore and those of Ferguson. So it would be applicable, the social media and the state shield laws. Thank you.